toward the One, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the Spirit of guidance. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Okay, come on, draw up close if you will, please, everyone. I just want to go over the practices for the coming month. Things change a little bit as we go along, and I already went over the meditation that on the illuminated soul in the way that I would like for us to progress, to use that as a way of also being a vehicle of healing for the planet. We were doing the Wazifa Ya Fattah previously as a blessing for our practice, an opening for success for our practice. And I think, for all of us, we want to, this is the stage where, it's important to keep our momentum in our own life, and it can come out in different ways. It's not about, just fitting the paradigm that I'm setting out as the plan. As you can see from our discussions, there's a lot of flexibility within it. The main thing is to continue a rhythm of daily remembrance in a way that reinforces itself, because practice creates the desire to draw closer, and so I'm adding the two wazifas to Ya Fattah that are really given to really enhance movement in one's life. Ya Wahhab, Ya Razzaq, and Ya Fattah. Doing all three together, it brings success. It brings success in a lot of different ways. Unexpected things come, and you feel that stream of blessing that just surprises you and shows up in your life with the unexpected return, and that's the Ya Wahhab. And everything you need is in that flow of life, but it just kind of, you're engaged with knowing that it's there and that you're entering that flow. All of these names have in common the quality of unending, repetitive, continuous activity. And that's indicated by the double middle consonant, Wahhab, two H's, Razzaq, two Z's, and Fattah, two T's, in the middle of the word, and that in the sound code means continuous activity and unending. So the Razzaq has to do with meeting our needs in life. Our needs for survival, our needs for food and shelter, and it also has the meaning of initiative, taking the initiative and finding opportunities within what our life is giving us to do practice, to find ways of remembrance, right in the midst of all the stuff that life is giving us, whether it's sickness or health or, peace or war or whatever it is, to find it within that context. We can find opportunities for success and for moving forward towards our purpose, and that's the Razzaq. And Fattah is, just the all-powerful quality of opening and success. And it really, even Ya Fattah is a good cure for depression and for all of these other things too that come up in a sense of tiredness and deadness. I mean, if you can force yourself to do Ya Fattah, you begin to feel this, the possibility of awakening and happiness within any context. So we do the three together, and that accentuates their power of activity in our life. So let's just take a few minutes. We'll do 33 repetitions of the name. These beads came from Iran. I like them very much, but they're not marked in the same way. So we're going to say Ya Wahhab, Ya Razzaq, Ya Fattah, and just open ourselves to feel this flow of success and movement in our life and continuing towards our purpose and not aborting our process at all, but even in good times, bad times, thick and thin, we feel this quality working with us. Ya Wahhab, Ya Razzaq, Ya Fattah. 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 Just continue for a few more breaths, engaging this in your flow of breath in your life. I mean. And the other, I want to go over these practices that have to do with what is called in Sufism Chagall, but these come from Lord Shiva, from the version of the Shiva Sutra that Reps transcribed at the end of Zen Flesh, Zen Bones, and centering exercises. And these are all practices that are related to what the Sufis call Chagall. The first one, touching eyeballs as a feather, lightness between them opens into heart, and there permeates the cosmos. The lightness is between the eyeballs. In other words, there's a lightness right here, starting where we call the third eye or whatever, the center in the head. And so as you cover the eyeballs lightly with your pointer finger like this, really lightly, and you, I think for this, let's turn down the overhead light. Ali's got it. Get the other one too. Yeah, okay.
And this
one too. Over here.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good. So that helps you just find the inner light. And let me just give you the breath practice that I'm giving here. I'm going to ask people to spend about 5 minutes on each practice and to do one or more of these 3 practices each day. But to begin by breathing in a refined and rhythmic manner with only a slight pause at the top of the breath. And when you settle into the meditation and you're starting to feel the subtle inner light evoked by the feather-like touch of your pointer fingers across your eyelids, you connect that light with your heart through this subtle breath. As you continue the practice, you'll want to take several pauses when you retain the breath for as long as you're comfortable. Throughout the practice, remember your awareness permeates the whole cosmos. So I'll read it again. Touching eyeballs as a feather, lightness between them opens into heart, and there permeates the cosmos. So we're looking for this lightness, that we become this light that is filled with heart and is all-pervading, and that is what we allow ourselves to dissolve into and become as we do this practice. So starting out just covering the eyelids in this way, breathing refined, finding the subtle breath, engaging the heart, and opening into that space that becomes all-inclusive. Now release and gradually open your eyes. And then just close them again and see if you can breathe in that space, finding that all-pervading space, limitless space pervaded with limitless light, heartfully so. So this is about as much time as you need to give one of these practices. Murshid gave them to do really fast, but I think we need a little more time with them to really appreciate them, especially connecting it with the breath in these different ways. You don't want to push down on the eyeballs. That's you're just closing off really the eyelid here, so that no light is leaking into the eye. That's basically all you're doing. You're not trying to, because you don't want to stimulate these that way. You just want to close it off like so. And the light that appears, you regard it as the light of the whole universe, the clear light, the light that arises from the vastness of space itself without limit or emptiness, however you want to look at it. Know your oneness with that. The second practice has to do with hearing. It's got two parts. One is with the ears open to sound outside, and the other is when you put your thumbs in your ears and you redirect your attention to the root of sound rather than out here to sound. So the first instruction is to bathe in the center of sound, as in the continuous sound of a waterfall. So all the sounds around you, instead of identifying them, you just kind of take it as like it's all, when I say on retreat to people, you hear other people, you hear things going on, it's bird song. It's all just waterfall. It's continuous sound, all flowing, and you don't try to differentiate it. You let it all merge as one sound. This is like a way to progress into this awareness. Let me give you then the breath instruction. Begin by noticing the condition of your breath and bringing it into rhythm. As you're doing this, you're releasing the hold you ordinarily have on your hearing that interprets what sounds mean. As you let go and bathe in all the incoming sounds, you hear them as one continuous flowing sound. At this point, you also become aware of the sound of your own breath as a fundamental sound. When you place your thumbs in your ears, completely close off the space without putting undue pressure on your eardrums. Dissolve in the one sound and hear its who as the universal sound. As in the exercise above, you'll want to periodically retain your breath after the inhalation so as to dissolve into the inner sound without hearing the air going in and out of your lungs. So if that's clear, if people have questions about this, yes?
Is it important to use the thumbs versus another digit?
No, the important thing is just you close off the the holds without, you don't want to do it in such a way that you put pressure on, you just want to close off the holds. And what you're telling your brain is, you've already been letting go of that sense of differentiating outside sound. Now you're just, letting sound go back, instead of going out, you're letting it go back to its root place.
Is it an inner sound, or are you actually making a sound?
No, it's an inner sound.
Okay.
It's an inner sound that arises, behind that whole, the sound of your breath, you identify as the sound who. All this waterfall of sound, you let it dissolve into the one sound, however you hear it. We hear it as who, for example. Then when you go into the inner sound, again, you are just releasing. You're not trying to listen to anything, you're becoming that which appears. So I'll read this one more time. Bathe in the center of sound as in the continuous sound of a waterfall, or by putting fingers in ears, hear the sound of sound. Now gradually release your fingers and become aware of your hearing again in a fresh way. Okay, what do you notice? Do you notice anything? Yeah?
I noticed that in closing my eyes, there's more light behind them, which is often the case than the light outside.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a kaleidoscope of shapes that come and go, like a camera. It holds it for a minute, I can pick it up and put it down, and the kaleidoscope changes when I move my eyeballs inside my eye sockets. And in hearing, the waterfall became the buzzing of bees. And the bees became higher in their pitch, like they were coalescing, getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And when I pulled my fingers out, the sounds of the world sharply filled back in the space between the bees and me.
Anybody else want to share something about what you experienced here? Yeah.
The hum that's ever present, the internal hum,
Yeah.
which
It's-
I only hear with my ears. So,
That's what Anai is talking about when he says the sound that unmistakably is coming to everybody. It's the sound of the breath. It's the sound that everything resolves into. This is a nice vehicle of meditation. I want to convey this third one. This is closing the 7 openings of the head with your hands. The space between your eyes becomes all-inclusive. If you haven't gotten this practice before, in the Sufi way it's given, the eyes are covered here, the ears here, the nose here with the middle finger, the mouth, the lips with these. So you're closing the 7 openings like that. And you want to do it in a way where you're not doing violence to yourself, where you're really just kind of covering all those centers. But we want to get into that in the right way. Here's the instruction. Before moving to the retention of the breath, take the time to bring your breath into a refined and rhythmical state. As you inhale, turn your eye muscles up and bring your attention to your third eye center. Naturally release as you exhale. After a few minutes, draw a long breath in through the right nostril while closing all the openings in your head. Ear with thumbs, eyelids with pointer fingers, nose with middle fingers, and lips held firmly together with the bottom 2 fingers. After retaining the breath as long as is comfortable, release the fingers over your sense organs very gradually and open your senses naturally into the external world. Breathe normally for about 5 breaths before returning to the retention practice, which you may repeat up to 5 times. Be very attentive to the effect that doing this practice has on your breath awareness afterwards. So we'll begin in this way. Don't do the practice of covering your senses first. Get your breath into rhythm. Draw your attention into the third eye. Draw your muscles into the third eye as you inhale. Release as you exhale. You can put your tongue up on your palate if that's another thing that can be done with this. As you draw your attention into the center. And then as you gradually have settled into this breath, then you take the breath in through the right nostril. Long inhalation in, and then close off all the senses immediately and retain the breath as long as you can, comfortably. As soon as you feel the impulse to let go gradually of your senses, and then just leave all your hands down and take another 4 or 5 breaths, just letting yourself come into an equilibrium with the situation, and then return to the retention practice. Finish the one you're on and just come into an equilibrium with your senses afterwards. Now you find when you do the full, this Shaghal-Eyes, it's called this full Shaghal of all the senses at the same time, that you have you have both light and sound. You want to regard the light that you see as the light of the whole universe, and the sound that you hear is the sound of the inner working of the whole universe. But you want to become the light and become the sound and not just listen to it or look at it. You notice when you remove your fingers from your senses in this way that your whole sensorium is really refreshed. There's something like taking a bath in light or that is taking place that allows the senses to feel refreshed afterwards for most of us. And that's a feature of the practice. I wanted to follow up a little bit on the Chagall practice that we introduced earlier. Particularly the third one where we're covering all of the senses is what Hazrat and I kind of speaking of in this lesson. The Hindu word akasha means the heavens, means all this, the whole of all of space as a receptacle. So you can call it the heavens or the inner world, or he calls it the heavens, but the akasha. And as he goes on to say, akasha means the heavens and is a capacity in the human being that includes all different aspects of life according to the extension of consciousness. In other words, just this ability to be a receptacle of all of this vibration, all this history, everything that is in the space itself it's there. Some people have that capacity to really receive from it. When this body is made pure and ready, then in that capacity the light and sound are produced. And the reaction of this light and sound upon the consciousness produces ecstasy and illumination. And the tongues of flame which arose from the foreheads of the 12 apostles so that they knew the language of all people is suggestive of the illumination in Chagall. The light one sees in Chagall exists all over. It is the all-pervading light which is allowed to manifest by the help of Chagall, and which arises as a flame in that capacity which is made open. So it's not just seeing the light or being aware of it, it's the response that we have to it that is the key here, that awakens our capacity. The sound heard in Chagall is that all-pervading energy, especially in the realm of the air element. When the capacity is made open, then there is a scope for this life to be audible, and by that it brings fineness to the body, rest to the mind, and ecstasy to the soul. Sounds like a good thing. Fineness to the body, rest to the mind, ecstasy to the soul. So what's the purpose of doing these practices? Well, you want something simple. That would be a simple purpose. It is not the light which one sees in Chagall that is spiritual illumination. It is the reaction of that light which illuminates life as it falls upon all things, making them clear and intelligible. And the sound which one hears in Chagall is not necessarily the exalting one. It is its after effect, and it is used for that purpose of exaltation. The way of using it for that purpose is to feel the presence of the all-pervading life in that sound. To feel the presence of the all-pervading life in that sound. Contemplating at the same time on the word who, and losing the thought of one's existence in the existence of the perfect life. This is something to read again. The way of using the sound that one hears in Chagall is, for that purpose of exaltation, is to feel the presence of the all-pervading life in that sound, contemplating at the same time on the word who, and losing the thought of one's existence in the existence of the perfect life. People without Chagall may see a light or hear a buzzing sound, but that is not beneficial to them in any way. It is making use of that towards the realization of perfect life, which makes Chagall important. Okay, so that's a lot to take in right there, but it's something, it's a direction for us to point ourselves as we do this practice. And I think rather than going on to the next thing on Chagall there, I think let's do a practice with the sound who and with the inner sound of the breath. And just simply take that as a tone for this meditation, to listen to the sound of our breath and to hear it as who, and to hear that sound as the fundamental sound of all sounds, and to feel the life of the divine being right in that sound. Continuing to let go into the livingness of that sound, losing all in that perfect life. try extending your horizontal awareness so that you feel all beings are doing this breath with you, consciously, unconsciously, everyone breathing. Hu. Now for another minute or two, place your fingers in ears and continue to meditate on the sound within and deeper within. And now removing fingers from ears, continue the meditation for another minute or two. Amen. Amen. Now I'd like to continue to the lesson connected with light. Chagall. The sun has a concentrated light. In other words, the all-pervading light concentrated in one point. Now, the sun is, Hazrat Khan is speaking about it, is not our neighbor Saul in the sky. It is, which is a sun, but it is the sun at the dawn of creation. It's the cosmic sun of which he's speaking. This is a sun. The sun has a concentrated light. In other words, the all-pervading light concentrated in one point. The point which reacts and reflects its light upon different centers, illuminating them all. As Shams Tabriz has said, when the sun arose in every atom, its light became reflected. When the sun arose in every atom, its light became reflected. Just reflect on that for a minute, in your breath. As Shams Tabriz said, when the sun arose, in every atom its light became reflected. This shows that the all-pervading life is light in itself, and it manifests as such when it finds a capacity where it can be concentrated, and its reaction is a further illumination. As it is said in the Quran, I have created thee with my light, and from thy light all created. It is this which is the secret of the Trinity. First, the all-pervading light. Second, the light when concentrated in one point. And third, the light having reflected itself in and thereby illuminated all which can take its reflection. I'll repeat that. It is this which is the secret of the Trinity. First, the all-pervading light. You could call that the Father, if you like. Second, the light when concentrated in one point, Son. And third, the light having reflected itself in and thereby illuminated all which can take its reflection, the Holy Spirit. As man is the universe in himself, as man is the universe in herself, in her body, also, there is the capacity and the point where the all-pervading life can center itself and manifest as light in what the mystics call the third eye. When this light, which the adept sees in Chagall, has manifested, its effect is to illuminate all things, reflecting in all things which will take its reflection, strengthening and invigorating all things, as it is the nature of the sun to help the plants to grow and flourish. It is therefore that the presence of a mystic becomes full of magnetism, and the place where she sits becomes charged with the magnetism. It is like the light coming out of the sun and producing joy everywhere. So I thought that this would be good to hear, to go along with our concentration, as he said earlier, in regarding this light in Chagall, that the light which one sees in Chagall, it's not that light which is spiritual illumination, it is the reaction of that light which illuminates life as it falls upon all things, making them clear and intelligible. So this is what we're looking for, the illuminated vision, illuminating, to turn the light of our intrinsic self-awareness as a beam on whatever it is that can take that reflection and receive illumination from it. That's the ongoing work of spirit in and through the human being. We are that aspect of the divine being. So it's all focused within us, and that's what the Chagall practice is intended to teach us. And so I wanted something that is as central as a practice as this in Sufism. I wanted to take a little bit of time with about the context for some people that may not have gotten it before in this form. There's one other thing that I wanted to be sure to do tonight, and that from these texts that to emphasize, and that is I put a paper in here on the subject of, I'll just read it, mysticism. Again, from the Gītas of Hazrat Inayat Khan. The knowledge of Jelal, Jemal, and Kamal in action and thought. So this is again returning to our consideration of these states of the breath, the right nostril, the left nostril, the balance between both the nostrils in the Kamal, or in the turnover point in the breath, the Aruj, the uprising, the in-breath, the Zaval, the falling action. This is a teaching that Inayat Khan gives, and it's not necessarily a teaching for everybody, but it's one for everybody to consider and to check in within your breath, because it is a part of the inner school. When by the spiritual practices one has developed so that he or she can perceive distinctly in their breath Jelal, Jemal, and Kamal, and when there remains no doubt, one is then able to know what will become of things and affairs by consulting their breath. In other words, you can use your breath as an oracle to know about things and affairs. If anybody asks that person about anything, or if that person happens to think of any affair and a question comes to their mind, what will be the result of this affair, they can get an answer by immediately consulting their breath, both for themselves and for another. Now this is a very large claim, but it's not going to work for everybody either, because you have to have a certain kind of sensitivity and a certain kind of breath development. But it's important for us to listen to, because some of us here may have that ability and development, and you may want to just kind of see for yourself if it is something that is in your dharma to work with. You may ask me a question: what is it that connects a person's affair with his or her breath? I will say that breath being life, all affairs concerning yourself are related to it, since they are related to your life. As it is one life which is all-pervading, when you are conscious of that, your breath in your life is all-pervading, and you can know about everybody's affair, about its failure and success as much as you can know about your own. The perception of the success and failure of affairs depends upon the nature of the affair and the breath at the moment. If the breath is Jelal, and if the question is about something exciting or something powerful, be sure that there will be success. If the breath is Jemal, then if it is a question of something gentle and beautiful in its nature, there will be success. The thing which will succeed in Jelal will fail in Jemal, but anything of a worldly nature about which you consult in Kamal will meet with nothing but destruction. In this, first of all, the breath must be pure and developed. Then the one who perceives it must be a master of meditation. But besides this, some intelligence is needed too. Meaning some ability, some common sense, some rational process that of discernment is needed too. Some ability to be, to refer to it in a kind of analytical way, or before it becomes more instinctive. The breath must be pure and developed. One must be a master of meditation, but besides this, some intelligence is needed too, for it is not easy to discern the difference between the nature of affairs and their relation to the breath at the moment. But just to consider this for a moment, if you were asked a question right now, what condition is your breath in? And dedicating our experience for the benefit of all beings, let's sing. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. Peace. Thank you. God bless you. Peace be with you.